So today we're going to wander around my garden. We're going to walk through the paths and look and see what inspires me. And later my friend, neighbour and chef Daniel de la Falaise, author of Nature's Larder, will be preparing a meal for us. So as the day comes to an end, we're going to go outside, lay a table, invite some friends and enjoy the evening. Hi, I'm Kathryn Ireland and welcome to my home in the French countryside. Together we're going to celebrate country living and entertaining.
Cheers, Kathryn.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming. In this series, I'm going to give you a peek into my farmhouse, the rooms I've collected, decorated and loved over the years. Most people, they have hobbies. They knit, they play the piano, they water ski. There's lots of things people do. What I like to do is tinker in my house. We're going to stroll through the gardens, pick flowers for the table, and talk about the joys of gathering friends for long, lazy dinners. I'll take you to villages, markets, and vineyards that inspire me, and share a few of my tricks for making a house feel like a home, starting with my fabric, of course. So grab a seat at my table and let's spend summer together in my house in France. So I'm really looking forward to showing you the outsides of La Castellane. It basically was a working farm, so all I did was move all the junk that was sitting on what is now my front lawn. And, they had old washing machines and dryers and tractors and just all the stuff you would find in an old junkyard. And I basically just mowed all the lawns and mowed all the lawns and mowed all the lawns. And over the years, I put the gravel in. I bought those pots there with Fran Drescher, before I had 3 children. She came to stay pre her nanny days, and we bought those extremely expensive pots. The shutters are this wonderful blue. It's a sort of pastel blue, which is what this part of the world was really famous for, the colour pastel. These old barrels I find at the flea market. We need a bit of deadheading to happen here. I've got lots of my girlfriends staying right now, so that's a job I'm going to give one of them. This garden is constant, although in many ways it's very, very minimal. We have to keep all these pots around the house watered. Otherwise, I've had to have completely drought-tolerant things because in the heat of the summer, we can't obviously be watering everything. And, the lawns you let go, if you were here earlier on in the summer, they would be absolutely fabulous apple green. But as the summers go on, they begin to turn a little yellow. But you know what? That way I know what time of year it is, and it's just part of life. I mean, you can't have green lawn all year round. That would just be silly. It'd be very Beverly Hills, my other life. I've been incredibly lucky with all the roses. These, actually, I put those in. Most of the roses I put in. And over the years, I've trained them. But this year, we've had a second spurt of roses, which is incredibly, very, very, very nice. The trees just keep self-seeding. When I bought the house, those ash trees there were, were they 12 feet? Probably not even that, but they are taller than the house, as you can see. We do have a beautiful oak. That's my favorite tree, I think. The oak tree. I like to sit on that little swinging seat under the oak tree. It's just very joyous, endless evenings we've had under that oak tree swinging away. And now I get to do it with my granddaughter. I'm not a formal gardener, but I love gardens. I like gardens to be a little unkempt and a little unruly and just grow in a slightly wild manner. So basically, around the house, it's geraniums. I've got some oleander, a bunch of old metal beds with fabrics, my fabrics, of course. But the way to have a little pop of colour around a house, it doesn't matter whether you live in 2 rooms, 3 rooms, or 25 rooms. Just throwing some geraniums, whether they're light pink, dark pink, or red, instantly brings a building to life. Let's not forget the swimming pool. When I put the pool in, this was all vineyard. Everything you see here is vineyard. Unfortunately, it got diseased, and I'm no vintner, as I found out. So unfortunately, we had to take the vines out. So this little cabana we built actually some years ago when I realized we actually really needed shade here. It was easy. We threw it up, and then, you know, here we've got some of the old grapevines that are growing over it, some wisteria, and it doesn't take long for a structure like this to get overgrown. By the way, these are the Howard sofas of the swimming pool, the Oliver James Lilos. I love these. They really are the most comfortable things ever. They live in the pool, however. I want people to think that I don't have this kind of massive 3-month summer holiday, because I don't, and it really annoys me when people say, oh, I hope you're enjoying your holiday. No, I've had 100 people to stay this summer. 100. Yes, I've made a lot of beds. No, I haven't, but God, you know, it's work. I love it, but, you know, I don't want people to think I'm lying by the pool. Look, I have no tan. This is my favourite place to come, have cocktails in the evening. And I think we'll have cocktails here this evening. It's a little bit of a wild garden. You know, it used to be, at one point it was a full-on kitchen garden, but I was known by the locals as Marie Antoinette because it seemed crazy for me planting tomatoes when that's what everyone in the area does for a living. And I suddenly worked out what one of my tomatoes cost, and probably like Martha Stewart's, they cost about 50 euros a tomato. You know, so much goes into it. But I've now just got it as a kind of wild cutting garden. Don't look too closely because there are a lot of weeds, but as we say, weeds are just flowers that grow in the wrong place. So this is, in fact, the original farmhouse, the Pigeonnier. This was built in about 1750, and the farmers lived in one room. They had a bread oven. That was where the pigeons lived, slept, and bred. And in fact, how they got rich was pigeon poo. So they sold the pigeon poo to the vineyards, and they made a fortune. So once they had made a fortune with their pigeon poo, they built the bigger house, the farmhouse. So this was the original, around 1750. When I got the house, it was in huge disrepair. There had been a fire in the bread oven. This was like just a lean-to for the animals. There wasn't much of a house, but over the years, as I've slowly renovated everything, we got to do this. And it's a 3-bedroom guest house with its own kitchen, and everyone can do their own washing, which I like. I'm always thinking people invite me over for dinner, but they haven't yet. So just follow me, come. I got to show you the reason I bought the house and what this house is all about. I mean, apart from the fact we've now got 10 bedrooms, it went from 2 to 10. But really, it's about these breathtaking views that we have everywhere. And the sunflowers, and just the fact that out here, the stars at night are extraordinary. But more than anything, I come out here and I'm really at peace. You know, that crazy life I lead, going from coast to coast, to project. I come here and I really have this sort of religious moment when I feel I'm in church. This is what we all strive for. We all strive to have just a little piece of somewhere that you can call home. Girls, How are you? It's so nice to see you. Kathryn and Amanda. Oh, thank God.
How are you? We haven't
Well,
seen
listen.
you
Seen
for
each other
30
for
years.
so long, and we're like, wow.
Not since
Good.
LA days.
Shh, Busty.
Remember the LA days?
I do remember the LA days. We love the LA days.
We had so much fun. Anyway, we're talking about how many children we all have now.
Oh, between us, we've got about
Between us,
15.
when we first met, we had 0, and between us now, how many have you got?
I don't know,
We've got
10.
4, 5,
got
6, 7, 8, 10,
3,
11.
11 between
And,
us.
oh, God, that's
and
a
how many
lot.
grandchildren between us?
Three.
I don't know.
3.
I'm gonna
4. I might have
I
another one.
better get one
All right,
soon.
I've got to whiz upstairs, get on a call.
Okay.
Kitchen garden, cocktails,
Yes.
kitchen garden.
Beautiful.
Wait,
In a
we're going
bit.
there now.
All right, see you there.
Okay, darling.
Bye. So today we are going to have a dear friend and chef come and prepare lunch for us. So this is the hub of the house. So Daniel, how are you, darling?
I'm good.
What
I'm
are we
making,
having?
this is pasta for the kids.
What are we having for dinner?
So this is the inner thigh of a blonde d'Aquitaine.
Certainly isn't yours, darling. There's not much to grab onto in
The
there.
colour, I don't know if you can see the colour, but the colour is
Yeah,
totally
beautiful.
extraordinary.
Beautiful.
And so
beautiful.
she's a very badly behaved spinster who went for the chop because she never had a calf after 3 years. And she was
And it's divine.
very perky. And the farmer who's the butcher, who's the same man, he would charge her. So she's gone for the chop, and that's what we're having
Oh my
supper.
God.
But the flavour and the texture is so delicious. Taste that. And we're going to have some of it as tartare as we start.
Oh my God.
And then dip your finger in here. I don't know whether we've got
I like
any
a bit
light.
of
Come over here so we've got
like a
light.
bit of a dip.
Try that. Put your finger in there.
Oh my God.
Ça c'est beaucoup. Ça c'est sauce très fort.
Nigella loaf.
Ça c'est sauce très fort. Watch it. They're coming out of the nostrils. And then here, this is going to be our first course,
Well, I thought it was going to go into my vodka
which
drink.
is an iced melon soup. Melon
it's my
soup with
favourite.
cardamom,
Love that. It's my favourite.
which is simply delicious. You smell that?
Oh,
Yeah.
beyond. And these,
So-
because the melons are right.
We're
in
right
season.
in melon season. This
Yeah.
is like, we're in melon country, melon season. And then to finish, so there's beef and then there's all the stories. And then for dessert, we're going to undress these peaches and we're going to spike and douse them with a little olive oil, fleur de sel and grappa.
Well, I'm going to go outside. Is there anything you need from the kitchen garden?
No.
Can I pick anything up?
No? I'll send you delicious things to eat shortly.
Oh, please. Ooh, thank you.
Kathryn is like extended family. Kathryn grew up with my first cousins once removed, so my father's first cousins, and we've been neighbours for the best part of 20 years. And this house is a house that can welcome so many people, and it's a very good fun summer party house. And Kathryn is always a joy. So this region of France is called le Verger de la France, which means the orchard of France. So really, if you're looking for great produce, if you think of Europe as a garden, this is the part that you would put the vegetable patch in southwest France. You got a convergence of rivers. You got the Aviron, you got the Tarn, you got the Garonne. So there's plenty of water coming from every direction, and you got a microclimate, which you've got the Pyrenees on the horizon, and then you're buffeted by Atlantic and Mediterranean influences. And so there's a very diversified agriculture here. Small production, small scale peasant production. It's really old France. It's like old-fashioned farming. There's very little monoculture here.
I think entertaining should feel generous but not exhausting. Fresh ingredients, simple preparation, good olive oil. That's really the secret. I don't like to overproduce a table. A few cuttings in a jug on the table with some random plates thrown together. Candles, yes, tons of candles. It should feel as if it came together effortlessly, even if it didn't.
Cheers, Kathryn. Thank
you
you
for
so
having-
much.
Thank you for
bringing
coming.
us all
Thank you.
together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay. And look, I love
Let's
having...
move back to England.
I know.
Yeah.
Cotswolds.
Can we?
Cotswolds.
Come on.
I think so.
Are
you really?
Yeah, well, we
How do I find a house?
Come within our
Darling,
circle.
what do you mean? How do I find a house?
Found one. I'm talking about my house.
Well, I'm finding you one.
I don't need a big thing.
This is what I love about France. Everyone settles down, the pace slows, and meals are great events. They stretch, conversations meander, and no one's checking the time. A garden just doesn't have to be Versailles. It has to be a place that wants you to linger in and enjoy and hang out in. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to feel alive. For me, this is where everything makes sense. The house, the colours, the fabric and the food. It's here that I get inspiration for all my prints and my colours. It all begins here and it all ends here.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.